Every time you get a chance to witness this scene, you feel lucky. Nothing like it.
Man, this is what it's all about. This is what college football is all about. I've said this is the best scene in the country.
I love and appreciate you guys. Understand this. We didn't get here without every single person in this room. We got here together. Let's finish this thing together. Everybody got me? Let's go do this thing.
Welcome back to Whiteout Weekly, where we can finally enjoy another glorious victory week after 3 painful losses in a row. And Davey, it was the Jahan Dotson Show against Maryland, where he went for a Penn State record, 242 receiving yards on 11 catches, 3 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 goose egg drops on the day.
Yeah, when we needed him most, he was there. And I think it was the fourth quarter where he broke that game open or got us in a much better spot with it. I think it was an 86-yard touchdown catch. And I was just sitting there thinking, imagine if he didn't come back this year, how fucked this team would have been with how electric he's been.
Yeah.
You're seeing, or I was seeing the other day, I think it was this morning actually, Mel Kiper releasing his big board for the upcoming draft. And I think he's got Jahan at number 15, number 2 receiver behind Drake London from USC. So just
not bad.
Said it before, the way that his career has kind of unfolded and transpired at Penn State from when he first started to now, he's truly one of, if not the most electric receiver in college football, and just a blessing to have him down in that blue and white still for a few more games.
Yeah, and I think I saw an interview where he was talking about like how he this season felt like his coming of age almost. He was behind, you mentioned KJ Handler, Juwan Johnson as like kind of his mentors, and he felt like this year was his year to show off all of his skills, and it's coming to fruition as he's going to be a very, very high draft pick.
Yeah.
It's a great move on him for coming back and kind of learning from those older guys, waiting for your dues, kind of like Alabama does. And then when it comes to time, you just explode. Yeah,
career season too. So his name will forever be etched and remembered in those record books too.
For sure.
From a in-game or single game record standpoint, and then just career record. But awesome to see.
I'm still calling it right now. Fred Biletnikoff winner. He's gonna win.
We did have another semifinalist announced. Jordan Stout officially a semifinalist for the Ray Guy.
Of course.
So another Nit up for a piece of hardware.
So last thing on the Maryland game, we're going to do our one name all game. Is Jordan Stout perhaps your one name all game for this one?
He is not. He's had a terrific season, but
fair.
This game, I'm going to go, you have the obvious, but I'm going to go with Brandon Smith, who over the course of the last few weeks has just been off the charts. So
really has.
This past week against Maryland, he had 9 tackles, 2.5 for a loss, 2 pass breakups, all over the field, making plays. For the year, he's got 8.5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, forced fumble, and a couple QB hits. So he's really come on, really showing that 5-star rating that he had earned before coming aboard here to Penn State. Another one who's climbing up draft charts. And we could very well be looking at his spot right now as a void to fill next year, just the way things are shaking out. So.
Yeah, because he plays that offside will linebacker position so well. Not only does he get 6 stops against Maryland last week, which has led the team unreal. Second was Jaquan, 3. So not only can he come up and defend the pass when he like recognizes a screen or a wide receiver screen, he against Maryland, he was targeted 4 times, led up 4 receptions, but for only 38 yards, and he had a pass breakup. So his coverage skills are starting to round into form, and I think that that's what NFL teams really covet, is the coverage skills to go along with your tackling ability and ability to recognize plays. So yeah, he's having a career year. And I just hope he comes back for one more, but
I know
he just might be too high on the draft boards.
Who you got for your one name all game?
So for me, I'm going with the man, the myth, the legend, Jahan Dotson.
Ooh, easy.
So listen to these numbers, his numbers against Ohio State and Maryland, again, amongst all wide receivers and all of college football. So this is where Jahan Dotson ranks. He has 22 receptions over the past 2 weeks, tied for first in all college football. 369 receiving yards, second in all of college football. 4 total touchdowns, tied for first in all of college football. He had the 3 receiving against Maryland, the 1 rushing against Ohio State. 14 first downs, catches for first downs, third in all of college football. And he's the only wide receiver with 30 plus targets during those 2 weeks and 0 drops, which is the most impressive thing, that he's just catching everything, giving Clifford a very secure security blanket. But he really is elevating this offense to something that I don't think we would be seeing if he wasn't on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely takes them to a whole other level. And going to be, again, just talking about Brandon Smith, but that'll be another huge void to fill next year. But we still got some football left this year, so we'll worry about that when the time comes. Yeah,
Jahan, I mean, he's obviously going to go high in the draft, but his void won't be as tough to fill because we have a couple young receivers that I think are going to step up next year in his absence. It won't be just like a one receiver show, you know what I mean? It'll be kind of mixed out. So coming up next, we are actually going to have our first ever guest on Whiteout Weekly, and we are going to throw him right into the fire with some good old-fashioned 2000 to 2010 Penn State trivia coming up next. And now, with a very honorary special position, the first ever guest on Whiteout Weekly, we bring to you Reid Soldier Boy Kellam, who was there with me at the infamous wedding where Penn State lost in 9 overtimes, was it?
Yeah, it was 9 brutal overtimes.
9 overtimes. He was there with me in the mud, in the trenches. So you know this dude's a real one. Penn State alumni. Welcome, Reid. How we feeling?
Feeling good. Glad to be here. Appreciate you guys having me on. Was saying I'll just spitball about Penn State football like nonstop at work, and nobody listens. So here we are. Natural transition into a little podcast on our favorite topic, but feeling good. Maryland native myself, so some family bragging rights. Thank you, Jahan Dotson. You know, I think kind of a sleepy game, but a win's a win, and defense held firm in the red zone as they seem to do every single weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing we've been talking about. I think, Dave, you actually have some stats on our red zone defense, how it's just been like fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, when you look at them and kind of talk through them, it's like, holy shit. 34 red zone possessions on the year, only giving up 10 touchdowns of those 34. And 12 of the 34, the opponents coming away with 0 points, which is mind-blowing.
I'm a mathematician.
Mind-blowing, bend, but don't break defense. So it's
33% touchdown rate.
Pretty damn good.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Pretty damn good.
So
some big plays out of those Lackawanna safeties. So
Lackawanna.
Yeah.
Dude, the Lackawanna connection is wild. Like, did they just breed, All-American safeties and corners? It's awesome to watch Brisker and Brown. Like, they clearly vibe. They're phenomenal players, but I think there is something to be said for those guys having a couple of years at Lackawanna together.
Yeah, we might have to do a investigative documentary into Lackawanna County.
Where is Lackawanna? I couldn't tell you the first thing. I know it's in Pennsylvania somewhere.
I have no idea. I had to guess, I would say it's going to be
just throw a dart at the state of PA, and that's where it is.
North. I'm going to say like northwest. We'll put a graphic of where.
Sounds right. Or like Scranton. I could see it being by like Scranton.
Yeah.
We'll put the graphic up. See
wherever it is. James Franklin knows where it is, and he knows where to get them.
So, big game, boys. Big game. What are they ranked? Number 7? Number 7, Michigan. Number 8, Michigan.
Number 8, ahead of Michigan State in the college football playoff poll. Our latest ranking that came out on Tuesday. So
I mean, those rankings just they make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So number 8, number 8.
I think it's 8. Yeah.
Number 8. Yeah.
That's affirmative.
Opened at Michigan -7, but with those injury uncertainties, it went to, I think I saw Penn State -1.5 at one point. And now I'm seeing +1.5, +1 somewhere, but I think this is going to end up as a pick 'em in the end.
Yeah.
Did you get the over under?
I did not. I thought it was somewhere in the 50s. I could check
it right now. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the 50s as well. Oh, just load. 48.5.
Yeah.
So they're catching on to Penn State's stout defense. But going in, I mean, Michigan has the second scoring offense in the Big Ten, and it's all led by their rushing attack. 234.1 yards on the ground per game, led by a tandem of Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins. However, last week against Indiana, Michigan went through a flurry of injuries. Blake Corum, who I just mentioned, suffered a lower leg injury and was seen in a walking boot. He's actually averaging 6 yards per carry this season, with 11 total touchdowns. He's also third on the team in receptions with 20. But after he was injured, he reportedly told Hassan Haskins, his running mate, that I'll be back soon. So his status is unclear for this week, so who knows. But Hassan Haskins has no problem filling in as that 3-down workhorse back. He went for 168 and a touchdown against Indiana. And he's just a beast. He's a between the tackles runner, grinding out those dirty yards. But Michigan loves to use the committee approach, kind of keeping those fresh legs on the ground, keeping the ground game moving. And even their third string running back, Donovan Edwards, has been unavailable the past 2 weeks because of an undisclosed injury. So, as dominant as their ground game has been, we might catch a break here because of injuries and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on Haskins possibly being the only available back this week?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to applaud or encourage injuries, but we've had our fair share of them, and sometimes
unless you're Max Mom,
unless you're
Iowa fans,
unless you're an Iowa, right? I stand corrected. But sometimes in college football, it's just about catching teams at the right time. And you look at where Auburn and Wisconsin are now, and us taking care of them early in the year, and then you walk into still a bit of a gauntlet here towards the end of the season where you got Michigan, you got Michigan State, but have a nice little play here where if Ohio State wins out and the Lions win out, we could potentially still go to the Rose Bowl and have something to play for here. So again, you never want to see injuries, but could work out in our favor here where we catch a little bit of a break and don't have Michigan doesn't have a plethora of RBs at their disposal to run it down our throats in that gap that's being left behind with Mustafa out for the year. So hopefully this bodes well for the Lions and the excellent linebacker play that we've been getting out of Smith and Jacobs and Brooks. And like you said, or like we were talking about with their offensive line and having those nasty DNs get after them. So hopefully this is just catching Michigan at the right time, noon game, and hopefully we just get after them early and put them away.
And Reid, you were saying you were a little worried about their running game, just completely pounding it down our throats all game.
Yeah, just I think flashbacks to Illinois, God forbid, but that's gonna be. I think Gaddis, he's taken a little bit of what he did at Penn State, Bama. I think he's kind of incorporated what Harbaugh liked to do at Stanford with like a pro style offense. But I think given the injuries, like the way they beat us is grind us down and run the ball. So I think Smith and Jacobs having big games, like if those two come out and like are quick off on their first step, we hold them to 2-3 yards, a carry, make them super one-dimensional. I don't see us losing this game.
Especially because their second leading receiver, tight end, Eric Howell, he limped off the field late in the game against Indiana, and his status is unclear. So a lot of questions surrounding this Michigan offense, including the man behind center, Cade McNamara, who re-injured or re-aggravated an injury that popped up during the Michigan State game. But watching that Michigan State game, I was pretty impressed by Cade McNamara. I'm not going to lie. He was making throws that I didn't think any Michigan quarterback could make, like over the past 10 years, basically. Driving them down the field, getting them into a position to win that game, possibly. Reid, I don't know your feelings on Cade.
I mean, I think you're spot on, right? Like Michigan State was his coming out party. Before that, I'm like, this is your run of the mill, like Michigan quarterback. Like,
exactly.
Decent. He'll win you 8 games. Like, he's not going to take you further. Still kind of feel that way. He's not a world beater, but I think showing that, and I will say, like, East Lansing, that place was rocking. Like, performance he put up was pretty damn good. I think Beaver Stadium will be ready to go at noon, and I know we have the defense to take care of him, but he's not. I think he has one turnover this year. He's not going to beat himself or let Michigan like just get run over, barring something crazy. Like I don't see him testing our secondary a lot. I could see a lot of short dink and dunks, grind the clock. This feels just overall like a 24-21 type game.
Yeah. And he's
classic Big Ten November football.
He's still unclear to play, but most likely you're going to play. But their 5-star freshman, JJ McCarthy, who they sometimes bring in like goal line packages as a QB keeper specialist. I don't know if you've seen his picture. He looks like Zach Wilson's younger brother. That's even possible.
He's a taller,
literally like just graduated high school, which he did, but like Zach Wilson's younger brother, just an inch taller, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Like, I don't know, what would you put the odds? I guess college football is notoriously secretive about injuries. What do we think like the odds are McNamara plays?
With the way the spread dropped, like that's a massive drop off for just a running back and a tight end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like to go from 7 to a pick'em, your starting quarterback's probably not playing that game.
Yeah.
So bring on little brother Wilson. I'm totally
right.
fine with him back there. In Beaver
I'm all
Stadium,
for
he
it.
can shit his pants.
I'd be very curious if and when the last time a freshman quarterback came in and won a Big Ten game at Beaver Stadium.
Very good.
Probably somebody on Ohio State. I hate to say it, but
yeah, you're definitely right.
I was gonna say probably JT Barrett or.
So with the injury to that tight end, their only other weapon on offense is Cornelius Johnson, who's a beast, 6'3", 211. Not a prolific route runner, but he just uses his body just to box out people and make catches. He's a team high 27 receptions for 449 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, nothing right home about, but still a threat to watch out for in the red zone for sure.
Yeah, I think for them, losing Ronnie Bell early in the year really hurt them with their passing attack too. That's just another key weapon that went down for them. So again, another injury that Michigan's dealing with, but I think they're definitely missing him big time.
For sure. And then the last thing I want to say is, besides Wisconsin, they haven't really faced like a premier defense. I would say defense that's in our tier, like in our level. But against Michigan State, Michigan offensive linemen allowed 25 total pressures with 7 QB hits on McNamara, but no sacks, surprisingly. He was knocked out of that game with an injury. And against Indiana last week, who's a bottom tier pass rush, I would say, they got 6 pressures on him, a sack, and a QB hit. So they're allowing some pressure. And like Reid, like you said, if we can hold off their running game to just like 2-3 yards per carry, get them in third and longs, put it on McNamara and bring some pressure, I think we have a really good shot of coming away with a victory here.
Completely, especially with Michigan being limited in terms of like stretching the field. I'm so confident in our secondary in a case like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 4 guys who can take care of business back there. You narrow it down to just a handful of playmakers. I like our odds.
Thing I'm worried about, which is my key to the game, is the Lions offensive line versus this Michigan State defensive line. And Dave, I know you have some more about possibly 2 of the best edge rushers in the Big Ten, excluding Arnold Ebiketie.
Of course. Yeah. You got to throw AK in that mix too. But yeah, first game in a while, or probably maybe the first game all year where we've really been going against 1 and now maybe even 2 premier defenders, maybe not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute beast. 6'6", 265, 7 sacks on the year. According to PFF, 18.6% pressure percentage, ranks 3rd in the country. So he knows how to get after the quarterback and get after him quick.
Yeah.
And then his running mate, David Ojabo, one of the really bursted onto the scene this year. 6'5", 250, third-year sophomore. He's got 8 sacks on the year and 4 forced fumbles. So you're looking at 2 guys here. And again, I know I had said I was looking at Mel Kiper's big draft board, which take it however you want. But both those guys find themselves in the top 10 of his early 2022 draft board. Yeah. So 2 premier edge rushers coming off the corner against an offensive line for the Lions that hasn't really found their sweet spot or consistency all year, which is a huge concern coming into this game, knowing that you don't know how healthy Clifford is. He's been able to create the last couple games, but hasn't really shown that burst or ability to extend and use his legs to get some first down. So going to be a huge test rolling into this game.
I mean,
those 2 guys coming off the edge.
Caden Wallace against either of those guys, I am definitely afraid of. Like, I don't think he can. Yeah. I don't think he can match up with either of those guys one-on-one. So I think we might see a lot of tight end protection with Strange, and then also like maybe Noah Kane or Keyvone Lee in the backfield with pass pro. A lot of that, because we can't just go 5-on-4. To be honest, on their defensive line, it's just they're just going to overpower us.
Yeah, no, gonna definitely have to try to find ways to get Clifford some time to hit that big play over the top. Because also as a defense, Michigan ranks number 6 right now in the nation in total defense, only allowing 16 red zone opportunities on the entire season. So gotta hit them with the big play. They've only allowed
teams in the red zone 16 times this entire season.
16 times the entire season.
Holy shit. That's remarkable.
Yeah. So I think honestly, like Parker Washington, everyone knows had an incredible freshman campaign. I think he's so due for like a breakout game this year, and this feels like the perfect opportunity. Like we get him involved early. Suddenly Michigan's, playing on their heels a little bit. This is a game I think Parker Washington just puts up some numbers. I think they're gonna, rightfully so, focus on Dotson, shutting him down. So, given how quickly Clifford's probably going to be under pressure, trying to find Washington in the slot and let him work his magic That's a key for me.
That's a great call. Because, he's going to face pressure, and Parker Washington is the screen guy. So, drop a couple screen plays to him, maybe a little crossing route over the middle, just quick hitters.
Yeah.
He makes guys miss in space. That's a great
We've seen flashes of it this year. So and we saw him all last year. Like, he can do it. I think that's got to be a big part of MY's game plan this week. But I'm excited. I don't want to make like a bold prediction first time as a guest here, but Parker Washington,
by all means,
100+ yards, like, book it.
Yeah,
100+ yards, book it. All right,
I'm feeling aggressive.
That's going in the sports book. I will bet that. Don't you worry. If I'm allowed to, I don't know if you can bet on college player props, but
you can here.
So what else? What's with their secondary?
Average.
Very average. Nothing to write home about. Have some underclassmen back there, but nothing really that should scare this receiving core. I think, like Reid said, look for Parker to have a big game. Look for Keandre Lambert-Smith in some key spots. He's had a very quiet, solid season for where he was last year, especially coming out and talking about his mental toughness. So I think to find him in some key spots. You saw Malik Mega out there last week rather. Had a quick catch, 3 yards, but look to see him possibly get involved a little bit more as well as they look to kind of prep and groom him looking ahead to next year with Dotson inevitably leaving and leaving another void there. To see him kind of step up. He's finally healthy now after some early training camp injuries. So like Reid said, big game hopefully from Washington, but I think those two guys as well should be able to kind of roam free in that secondary.
Yeah, it's a great point, Dave. I mean, the everything you read about Malik is like, this guy is a freak, and he's super young. Like, he's, I would love to see him explode this game, but I think the future is super bright, like beyond this week and this season even.
Mm-hmm. So Reid, one thing we try to figure out every single week is how do we get this running game going? I say
the $1 million question.
I say Keyvone Lee every week. Like, I'm a big fan of Keyvone Lee. He does have a habit of just like running into blockers, which is a problem. Not seeing the hole correctly, but he can break off and break tackles and get some big games.
Yep. I mean, he's definitely RB1 now, which is I was so bullish that we'd see a healthy 100% Noah Cain this year, and that just hasn't played out at all. I mean, we have to establish something, right? Like, we can't go into a 3rd and 2 and everyone in the world knowing we're going to pass the ball or like run a scramble. Like, we have to get those tough yards. It's November. It's Big Ten football. Mm-hmm. I think Lee is that guy. He seems to week over week be making progress, and I think we're seeing like flashes here and there. I think it's just a little documented. We don't have a single rusher over 100 yards this season. Why not now with Lee? Another claim. I think if he gets over, there's no way we lose. Yeah, at least let me go 50-50 on this. Yeah,
I like it. I might put it in.
But yeah, Lee is that dude. I think he's.
I think he's earned.
I mean,
I think he's earned it.
Yeah,
it's just the head scratcher though. I mean, he was clearly the most effective runner last week. They continue to go with Cain. Not a huge disparity in carries, but Lee, I think it was 6.7 yards per carry. Cain still getting the rock 10 times. Love it, still throwing in there. So even still across that room, the coaching staff, I don't know if they're missing it, but they don't seem to see a clear-cut guy who's emerged.
Yeah.
So it's between that. Is it the scheme? Is it the run blocking? It's just a lot of questions that we're not going to get answered this year. And you hope to have them answered for next year when you got the number one guy in the country coming in. So it's concerning, but I think for sure Lee's got to be the guy, but it's just, does the coaching staff see that and trust to give him the ball 15, 20 times to see if he can break 100.
And I think it is a little bit of a respect thing. Noah Cain. He's battled back. He's worked hard. He's earned his spot to be the lead back here, and he's not performing. That's where like the Penn State like family knit unit kind of comes to bite you in the ass, where it's like you have this relationship with this running back who's put all the work in to get back to where he's supposed to be, and he's not performing as well. It makes it that much more difficult to be like, hey, buddy, you're going to take a step back to this younger freshman who's doing much better than you.
I couldn't agree more. It like sucks to see play out, because we all know Noah Cain from 2019 and like the breakout freshman year he had.
Yeah.
Gets hurt and seems to have put on 10, 20 pounds and is just like a half step too slow right now.
Yeah.
To be like an effective back. And I hope that changes, but he just feels like a work in progress right now. That said, I think you go on like the boards on 24/7 and people are like roasting, and it's like, let's not forget this guy was like, he was the freshman All-American, if not like second team freshman All-America, like 2019. Like the skill, he's got all the skills. I just don't know where his health is. Like if he's, how serious that foot injury was and how much that's affecting him.
Yeah, so let's move on to our score prediction for this game. Over-under is 48.5. Like we said, it's probably going to be a pick'em at the end of the day. This is recorded on Wednesday. Reid, honorable guest, why don't you go first?
Okay, let's go. I am going to go Penn State 27-20 victory.
Right.
I think just under. I think just under. I think we get enough of Sean Clifford. I think I'm still sticking with Parker Washington being like, while, I think Michigan's focus is going to be passing game wise is going to be Dotson through and through. I think Washington, maybe Theo Johnson, maybe a few of those tight ends. Maybe we go back to the Wildcat. They're just going to be a couple plays. And I am.
Dave's not a fan of the.
Please, no more
Wildcat anymore.
I mean, I loved it against Auburn.
It was great at first, but Tyler Warren should not be carrying the rock anymore.
Fair, but we'll talk Sunday when he has one rushing touchdown for 4 yards, and
I'm sure he will. I'll come back around.
But yeah, I think end of day, like 27-20, and I think consistent to the year that we've seen, our defense bends and just does not break at all in the red zone.
Yeah, I like that. Dave, why don't you go next?
I got the Lions 21-14.
You fucker! I was literally about to say that. I was literally about to say the exact same score.
I like the under here. I think Michigan gets a chance late to punch this one in to tie it.
Yeah.
And like Reid said, I think the defense holds strong, but I think this one comes down to the wire. I think both defenses get after it, and it's a tight, low scoring noon Big Ten affair.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our defense comes out on top here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 21-17. I'll give them an extra field goal, bend don't break in the red zone. I think Parker Washington has a touchdown in this game. I hope Keyvone Lee has a touchdown in this game. And then I'm hoping the third one honestly comes from like a defensive turnover, possibly setting us up in the red zone for whoever to score. But I think it's honestly going to come down to whichever defense either makes the big turnover in the second half, or whichever offense can control the clock in the fourth quarter and kind of have that last possession as the game winds down. So yeah, I'm going to go 21-17. And Reid, don't think we're going to let you off the hook this easy. It is now time for some Penn State trivia, as the Croatian Bear has an absolute doozy for you.
I'm so fucked. But let's
you are so fucked.
I'm not gonna lie, you are fucked.
But I have a phone a friend option, right?
You can't phone me.
Well, yeah. Damn it! Thought it had a loophole.
You have a phone.
I've got like 2 people on speed dial who know Penn State football.
Phone a friend and
anywhere close to you two. So
you can use both. You can use your phone a friend and a hint, just because. Yeah.
Okay.
The doozy. All right, Dave.
Or I'll just after all this, I'll just get it right off.
Yeah,
that's best case scenario. Again, sorry to do this to your brother. It's considered your christening for Whiteout Weekly. So your question is, in 2006, Penn State defeated Florida State in the Orange Bowl in 3 OTs, 26-23, in an absolute classic. Question is, who was Penn State's leading rusher in that game?
I'm going to go with Michael Robbins. Oh, God. That feels way too. It can't be. Oh, boy. That's fucking hard.
2 lifelines.
Okay. Who?
Want a hint?
I kind of do.
Hit with the hint.
All right. So your hint is this rusher was a true freshman at the time this game was played, finished with 26 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oof. I'm fucked. This is where it's like, okay, 2010 Penn State football on, like pretty much know the roster, but didn't grow up a Penn State fan in Maryland. So shit, I might have to phone a friend. We'll see if he picks up.
Who are you gonna call?
My buddy Matt Miles, who is active on the 24/7 boards nonstop, Penn State diehard. Let's give him a quick ring. The boards also as much entertaining as anything. Just like you can imagine, like people, so the other day somebody posted a flight path. Somebody was flying from like Baton Rouge to State College. 99% chance it had nothing to do with college sports.
People are like, what they were saying, I was like the LSU private plane is in State College.
Like, yeah. You watch the flight patterns are out of control.
Those people are nuts. Like like I think we're all like diehard. I know we are diehard Penn State fans, but yeah, the flight path followers are like the fucking QAnon side of like being a college football fan. Those people are fucking out of their minds.
Yeah.
And have way too much time.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Oh no.
Okay.
You can try another friend.
All right. I'm actually gonna try my buddy who is a diehard Florida State fan.
Oh,
and was in college at the time.
Oh,
so
a ringer, bringing a ringer into the mix.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. He works at Snap with me, so I'm gonna have to snap him and see if he can't do the FaceTime that way.
If he pulls this, I'll be so impressed.
Me too.
I mean, he might, because sounds like, I don't know, kind of sounds like it was a shit. Actually, he was at that game too. Let's see. Where's his fucking Snapchat?
Exhausting all of his resources.
I'm just so fucked.
No, I honestly had no idea who it was. What were you gonna say about Dixon's wedding?
Oh, well, lovely wedding, but I will say vibes down from the Penn State crowd. That was tough to walk from the open heart surgery without anesthesia of a game against Illinois straight to a wedding ceremony where you have to just be like, and I was like, I fucking love him and Lindsay, but like, you show up to a wedding in the fall, like on a college football Saturday, 50-50 chance you're coming in really depressed and pissed off. And I think, where we were there. It's why I would never, ever schedule my wedding over a Saturday in the fall.
Yeah.
I think there's like 4 pockets in the year. You do it like after the Super Bowl, before like baseball really picks up. I don't know. It's just me, but
I agree. I've been
it was a lovely wedding.
Been to 2 on college football Saturdays. It's been tough.
Well, I've not heard back from my buddy, but I think I do know that bowl game featured the 2 most wins between head coaches probably ever, with Bowden and Paterno.
We'll give you half a point for that.
So I can for that. But yeah, I want to go with Robinson. I can't remember who wait. Oh no. What's his name? He played for the Redskins for a little bit. He might have been younger than that.
I think you're thinking of Royster.
I am. It wasn't Evan Royster. That's, I guess, my I don't even think he was on the roster at that point.
He was a little later. Dave, want to give him the answer?
It's my best.
Answer is Austin Scott.
Right?
Yeah, I never would have gotten that. Okay, that makes me feel better.
That was a tough one.
I think I said never would have gotten.
He had a prospering career that fizzled out with some off the field allegations. So nothing ever transpired. But Monster Orange Bowl for Austin. But that was a tough one.
That was the peak.
Yeah.
I mean, if that your buddy who was at that game answered, he might have gotten
maybe
that right.
just text him the question, see if you get it.
Yeah,
I will.
All right. Well, Reid, Soldier Boy Kellam.
Boys, appreciate
we'll put
appreciate the invite.
His handles on social below, so you can go follow him. Penn State fan, unfortunately Boston Red Sox fan, which absolutely sucks. Also a Capitals fan, I believe.
Loose. It's Penn State football and it's the Red Sox. My heart can only take so much.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
I'm a Pats fan too, but nothing compares to like Penn State.
Yeah.
So appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course,
keep
man.
up the great work. You guys keep
Thank
me
you.
sane, listening each
Thank
week.
you.
And why not run the table? That's my parting thoughts. Like, glass half full. Let's run the table.
Why not?
And I'll see you boys in LA in January for the Orange Bowl.
Why not us?
We were talking about the Orange Bowl for the Rose Bowl.
For the Rose Bowl, baby. That would be absolutely sick. Reid, thank you so much for joining us. Our first ever guest on Whiteout Weekly. That will be etched in the record books forever. You will hold that title to the day you die. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate all the kind words, man.
Love it, boys. Let's go State.
Let's go State.
Go State, baby.
Let's go. See you, boys.
It is week 11 of the Big Ten betting bonanza. And I got a couple housekeeping notes here. I finally tallied our win-loss record for the year. Out of 30 games, Dave, the Croatian Bear, is 20-10. That's professional level gambling right there. That's insane. 20-10 in 30 games.
Oh, man.
I am 15-15, which is right where a square should be. 500. Giving my juice to the casino. That's about it. Walking away.
Right about where my normal betting is.
Walking away with a what-if attitude and just a couple swings here and there. But the big thing that has separated us, I'm up 20 points in the Big Ten betting bonanza system. 22-18 points because of the money line. Call me Moneyline Matt, if you will. I'm 5-1 picking money line games while Dave's 1-3. So that's kind of where his record's better than mine. But since I've been picking money lines like a fucking hero, that's why I'm
I want to call your shot, Matt.
That's why I'm winning 20-18. So we're on to week 11. And Dave, I'll give you the honors of going first. We both went 1 and 2 last week. Both were on Rutgers. Don't want to talk about that.
Rutgers money line, baby. Oh,
we're not talking about it.
Such a clown.
Northwestern, you covered plus 12. That was a disastrous game. And you hit on Michigan State. Or no, you lost Michigan State.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Sketchy lines prevailed.
So I lost Rutgers, lost Minnesota, rode the boat one too many times as they lost outright to Illinois. Illinois just keeps stabbing me in the heart. Why don't you? Like, come on. And then the only thing I had was Purdue first half money line, which good for me, but we're only going to count that as 1 point because it was a first half bet, not a full. So on to week 11. Who do you have?
So last couple of weeks, I've been fading these guys a little bit, and I'm finally going to flip the script on them and ride with them. So I'm going to take Whiskey minus 25 against the Wildcats. I think Wisconsin's big line for a Big Ten game, but I like the way Wisconsin's playing both defensively, and Graham Mertz is coming a little bit into his own. Like I've said along, my Northwestern season-long bet's kind of down the tubes now, so I'm riding Whiskey here. Minus 25.
I mean, they just smacked Rutgers, so
yeah,
they're going to be at Randall, Northwestern. Yeah. Could be a little too many points for them, but
yeah, over under's 41.
Yeah, so it's good. So you're betting on a Wisconsin just blowout.
Just a shutout. Yeah.
I don't have anything on that game, but I'm going to row the boat one final time. Minnesota plus 5.5 at number 20 Iowa, coming off a bye. I'm taking Minnesota money line, baby. The last time I rode the boat.
In this hits, you should have the shirt and tie with the little quarter zip over top, like PJ.
No, I will never dress up as another head coach. No chance. But I will say this: if Minnesota fucks me this week, I will never bet on them again for the rest of the season. So that being said,
Minnesota boat's going down the river with no one in it.
Okay. I think they're plus 170 is their money line at plus 5.5.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good ROI if you put it in a little $20 bet on there.
Yeah, I might tell that. All right, so for pick number 2, I am gonna boiler up plus 20 Ohio State. I took Ohio State last week against Nebraska. They fucked me, so I'm done with them. I think Purdue hangs tough in this one. Maybe even lose by 2 scores, but I'll take that this week in a week where they're plus 20. So I'm going with the Boilermakers.
Purdue's a very interesting team this year. Very interesting team. However, I do like that you took the full game because I'm going to take Ohio State first half minus 10.5.
Oh.
I just think there's something about the horseshoe opposing teams coming in there. Ohio State just seems to always start fast and just pounce on teams there. And then the other team kind of figures it out either at halftime or maybe adjustments in the second quarter and starts to chip away. But it just seems like they always cover in the first half.
Yeah.
Although I have lost 2 bets on them in the first half, so maybe want to rethink that. But sticking with it, Ohio State minus 10.5 first half bet.
Like it.
And your final
pick, I am going to go to Happy Valley for this one. I like the under in this game. I am going to take under 48.5.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to my score prediction, 21-14. I like it somewhere in that range. I think both defenses come to play, and I like a good old-fashioned Big Ten slobber knocker.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Michigan trying to bleed the clock as much as possible. Penn State obviously trying to do the same. There's going to be obviously sacks on both sides, so that's going to bleed some more clock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that under pick a lot. Yeah, I do. because they're really gonna focus on Jahan, even though their secondary is not that great. Yeah, I like that pick. So for my third and final bet, I'm going to go with, again, fade myself for the season. Maryland, talking them up. Actually, they're not a bad team. They have talent. It's just raw talent. They're just not. They just don't have the schemes all together. Guys fitting their roles in the schemes. So I'm going to go Sparty. Minus 13 against Maryland at home. I think after that loss to Purdue, they're going to bounce back and just absolutely obliterate the Terrapins. Yeah, I would hate to be a Maryland fan this week because I think Sparty's out for revenge after that Purdue loss.
Yeah, I think it sets up nicely for a good bounce back game for them, and especially at home to kind of come back after a tough, heartbreaking loss and take care of business.
Yeah, and I was going to take first half again on that, but it is Wednesday, so there are 14 point victory. Gets me that +1. So that will be it for week 11 of the Big Ten Betting Bonanza. Again, you can sign up on the Parks Sportsbook app using promo code Whiteout and tail any of our bets. We've obviously gone over it. Dave's pretty fucking good at Big Ten betting. He's 20-10. You might want to tail some of his picks. Might want to fade some of mine. You never know. But use that code Whiteout and you get a risk-free bet up to $500 on the Parks Sportsbook app. It's a no-brainer. Code Whiteout, risk-free bet. Have some fun on Saturday. Thank you guys again for joining us on another episode of Whiteout Weekly. We love you, and let's go State, baby.
Let's go Nits, baby.